As the Wolves look to take a 3-1 lead while the Warriors just try and survive for Steph in the city of fog. The Wolves will try and clear the air of any cope for Curry and slam the door in San Francisco. Wolves, Warriors. Game 4 is going down in San Fran in just about an hour and a half. In the meantime, you are cordially invited to come get hopped up on hope with the pregame party presented by Youngstedts. Check out their spring savings to save up to $230 on your purchase of a select set of 4 tires. Check it out at youngstedts.com. And speaking of websites, you can check us out at kfan.com/watch. Thanks to Nick and Zacho. My name is Max Fuller, a.k.a. Froby1 Kenobi, a.k.a. Max Strick Mahomes, a.k.a. a million other things. And fresh off the fishing opener, I am joined by a master with the bait, the one, the only, Dr. Parker Fox the Fifth. How was the fishing opener, baby?
I see what you did there. It was great. It's a tradition me and my dad have, so I was super grateful I get to spend that with him. My brother usually joins too, but he's not in Minnesota
blood
at
brother
the
or just a
moment.
black friend? That
my blood brother.
Okay, cool.
But I have some black friends up there too. You want to go fishing? But no, man, a super fun time with my pops. Then we were able to kind of listen to yours truly here, K-Fan, Alan Horton, over the radio. And then he was joined by my guy, Jim Peterson, who we all know and love, Jim Pete Hoops. So it was awesome. It was great to be on the water. It's just been so... I mean, we're going to talk Wolves tonight. We're going to talk hot, about getting the Wolves hot here. But how hot has it been in Minnesota,
Dude,
man?
It's been
gracious.
amazing. This is
been
one
awesome.
of the best stretches of weather I remember in a long time. And there hasn't been a cloud in the sky besides all that smoke the Wolves have been giving the Warriors. That's the only thing that's up in the sky.
Yeah, we're usually cut off by a little bit of rain, but we haven't had that, and neither have the Warriors.
Right?
So there's a good transition for you, right?
What's the biggest catch you've ever had, though? You ever catch anything good?
Yeah, a couple years ago, I got a 28.5-inch walleye.
Oh, dang.
So that was my personal best walleye. Caught that.
If you had a
Forest
dating
leg.
profile, would you put that as the profile?
If I had
pic?
one, I maybe would. I don't know. Then they'd be like, "Who's this country guy?" Right? I don't know if that perfectly describes who I am per se, but I got a little bit of it in me. But no, man, love fishing them. For Christmas 2 years ago, I got my dad actually had that fish mounted for me.
Oh, sweet!
Put on a piece of driftwood, so that was an awesome present. And yeah, I've been fishing my whole life. So
I haven't been fishing since I was a child, man.
Really?
I kind of want to get back into it.
Man,
I feel like it's
I'll tell you
perfect
what.
when you just want to kill some time,
Yes.
vibe out,
Summer day, get on the lake,
drink some pops.
Yes, exactly. It is the best way to spend a couple of hours if you're able to, even get your toes wet a little bit, maybe hop in the water after you fish.
Right.
Like, it's a classic Minnesota activity in the summer.
Anything that's like similar? I don't think a lot of people would think any similarities between fishing and hooping.
I like this.
We could talk to my guy Tackle Terry Tuma. I heard he's got a jump shot. Cap. I heard he used to ball back in the day. But what's something that a good fisherman and a good hooper have in common, Parker Fox?
Oh, that's a great one. I think you could obviously spin zone this kind of however you maybe wanted to. But for me, when I'm walleye fishing, the setup is very important, right? So you have to have like the right bait. We use minnows or we use leeches, and then you got to have the hook, and you got to have. And I'm geeking out here country style.
I love it.
You got to have you got to have a sinker, so you got to wait to sink it. You got to have a swivel, you got to have a leader. So it's like all these things you have to be set up. And I think that is like a basketball player is just working on your game, working on your craft, making sure everything's right. So when you get in the big moment to catch the big fish, aka the playoffs, to go win the Larry O'Brien Trophy. If you have everything intact, mentally, physically, your team is consistent, you're getting together as a group, and you're firing on all cylinders, you can win a championship or you can catch a big fish. So I think that's my reference for the day there, Max.
I like that, Parker.
Yeah.
And it kind of segues right into talking about Game 3, because talking about the setup, you got to start with Julius Randle.
Certainly.
I mean, Anthony Edwards had an amazing game, 36 points, and surely we'll get to that. There's been a lot of coverage on that, but it was an absolutely special night for Julius Randle. In the middle of what's already been a really special playoff run, Saturday's game stood out as one of his best in a Wolves jersey. He was a Swiss Army knife, except I think he's from Texas, isn't he?
Ooh, Julius, this ain't Texas.
So
Can't
maybe a
hold him.
Texas Army knife, which is bigger and better because it's from Texas. He did it all down the stretch. He was rebounding. He was shot making, shot creating. He helped get Draymond Green fouled out, which made a huge difference on the defensive end. He was really a Julius of all trades. And check this out, man. I had to triple check this, that this was a real stat. It's like one of those things, in the old cartoons when you had the glasses and they go like, I didn't even have glasses and I had to do that because they said Julius Randle, this is actual factual, Julius Randle has generated 49% of the team's points over the last 2 games.
Wow.
Essentially either assisting or scoring on half of the Wolves' points over the last 2 games. I mean, Randle just displayed the value of his versatility in Game 3. That's an incredible stat.
Yeah, that's an awesome stat. And there's really there's only one way to go at that stat, right? Is scoring or assisting. And Julius Randle delivered a clutch triple-double performance in Game 3 with 24 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. He became just the second Timberwolf ever to record a playoff triple-double.
Wow.
Second of all time.
Is it Sam Cassell, KG?
It's
got to be. Those are the only two. Where
are the texters at? Where's the Bradshaw and Bryant text line? K-Fed 64686.
I think it is Sam Cassell is what I read earlier.
I think you're probably right, Max. So I like that one. I like maybe a KG. But think about that. Think about how many triple doubles Russell Westbrook has had in the playoffs, or Luka Doncic.
Right.
Julius Randle just became the second of all time for the Timberwolves. Let that one sink in a little bit, man. No, but you're right. You're right, Max. He's me and PA talked about it this morning, and they just Brett just played the clip before we hopped on the air here. But what Julius is doing, and we wanted to talk about the Cat trade right early in the season, and hey, this maybe isn't working out, or where's Cat? We miss his 3-point shooting ability. The toughness that Julius Randle has brought to this team is what's going to propel them through the Western Conference Finals and into the NBA Finals, in my opinion. And I know we don't like to do too much forward thinking on this show. We like to stay in the moment. We like to get each other hyped for especially this Game 4 here tonight. But I truly believe that the Timberwolves' next step they needed to take from the past couple years was to get tougher, was to learn how to win in the nitty-gritty, learn how to go up against a little adversity in the playoffs.
Get it out the mud.
Get it out the mud and fight through. And the one thing that Coach Chris Finch said this morning about Julius, he really highlighted his ability to move on, right? To make a mistake. And we see Julius make plenty of mistakes, and he'll probably be the first to admit it. A turnover, a loose ball he didn't jump on, or maybe a charging foul. But he makes mistakes, and he turns the ball over. But the ability to move on from those mistakes, move on to the next play, not only helps himself, but it helps young players like Anthony Edwards to be able to see the leadership that Julius Randle brings and to almost kind of jump in his backpack along with him. And I know Ant's the leader of this team on the court when it comes to scoring and when it comes to just his aura and energy he brings. But I think Julius Randle is really right there along with him as an older player, a couple of years older than Ant, like showing him the ropes. And it's fun to see how their friendship has blossomed, especially in these post-game pressers, which follow the game before we usually hop on for post-game. Like it's fun to see their relationship really starting to bloom.
Yeah, it seems it's not just that Julius Randle's game is complementary of Anthony Edwards' game and he finds a way to fit in. It fully is enhancing Anthony Edwards' game. I think 6 of his assists early on were directly to Anthony Edwards. And you talked about Chris Finch's postgame comments. He even mentioned it. Randle is basically like a second point guard out there. I think it was Britt Robson that was saying in his article earlier today that Randle is kind of like the go-between for playmaking in between like a Mike Conley and an Anthony Edwards. He's kind of that like go-between playmaker, and he was the one setting up everything in that fourth quarter, and that was really special. And I think speaking to what you said about his ability to just let go, that generates throughout the whole team, right? Because this Wolves team, fourth quarters went from a movie you've seen a million times and you go, oh man, let me close my eyes because this is about to get graphic, to a movie that now you sit up in your seat and you go, okay, here comes the best part. Because no matter what, the 3 quarters of that game did not go the Wolves' way. I still did not lose confidence in them because they've been showing us nothing but grit, heart, and intelligent playmaking down the stretch in these fourth quarters throughout the playoffs thus far.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that's really showed up for me is the depth that the Timberwolves have. they have such an upper hand when it comes to going into their bench. And frankly, in my opinion, in their starting five as well. I think we're just deeper across the board.
It's one of the most, I think tonight might be, I think they said this would be the 70th start for our starting five, which is the most in the NBA this season. So
That's
consistency is the word right here.
Huge thing me and PA talked about this morning on both ends, the consistency of this Wolves team and what they want to do strategically, what they want to do substitution-wise, what they want to do with their defense, what they want to do with the stuff they're running offensively. There's just been a lot of consistency. And if you continue to stack that over time, and if you believe in your front office, if Tim Connelly believes, I have the right pieces, I have the right coach, and if we continue to do this consistently, it's eventually going to work. And I think that's the only way you beat a Warriors team, right?
Right.
Like Steve Kerr is a mastermind. We call Kerr-a-check, man. He's a mastermind. But the only way you beat a team like that is to consistently do it your way over and over again and not try to conform to what another team, what another dynasty has.
And the Warriors have been one of the teams, we've seen it so many different times over these years. They've done, that's one of the things that they're best at, is making teams play their game. I mean, we saw it in their prime. How many times did teams get into a three-point battle with Steph and Clay and ended up getting outgunned?
Not a good idea.
It's never a good idea.
Not a good idea.
And obviously the Warriors don't have that kind of firepower anymore, but they've learned new ways, and they do such a good job of making you play their game. And they were doing that again. I mean, for 3 of those quarters, they were winning the way that the Warriors have to try to win these games without Steph Curry. They were mucking it up. They were clogging the passing lanes. They were causing a lot of turnovers. And Jimmy Butler, although in the first quarter and kind of also in the previous game, he looked very reluctant to be the guy to kind of fill that Steph Curry void. He seemed a little too reluctant to want to be the scorer. He was still trying to be too much of a facilitator. But then obviously something clicked in that second quarter, and he started getting anything that he wanted, man. He was taking it straight to the paint. I think he had something like 20 of his points.
Jimmy Butler, that is?
In the paint, yeah.
He was
absolutely, I mean, he was doing whatever he wanted to that Wolves defense.
He was neglecting to shoot the three, too.
Yeah.
You know, like it didn't look like he really wanted to shoot the three.
No, not at all. Like he was intentionally like hunting out that paint, and it just seemed like he was doing whatever he wanted. I mean, obviously Jonathan Kuminga was helping him out too, but Jimmy Butler really he took it to a whole nother level. And we saw the real playoff 100%. Jimmy.
We have to give him his flowers for that, right? Like you have to give a guy credit. What I'm about to say, I don't want to like discount for what he did because I thought he played great.
Yeah,
but he was 1 for 7 in the fourth quarter.
Oof.
And what PA always says is old guys' legs get tired.
Yeah.
And that might have been to that effect, right? Like if you're trying to go over and over again, get paint touches, be physical like Jimmy Butler plays. He played 43 minutes. And the ESPN crew talked before the game about how Steve Kerr and Jimmy had a conversation pregame, making it a focal point of Jimmy's going to play a lot of minutes tonight, which is great. But maybe there's a little reason why you went 1 for 7 in the fourth quarter. Maybe you didn't have the legs. Now maybe when you're crashing into the paint and you're trying to get paint touches, you can't quite get all the way there.
Right.
That just gives the Timberwolves depth that another kind of boost of confidence, right? Like you can just throw multiple bodies out there, but Jimmy's still out there. He's getting tired. Hey, Nas, go guard him for a couple minutes. Hey, Nikhil, go guard him for a couple minutes.
And we have the depth that we can do that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a key point in tonight, and it feels like they just played this game. So we're going to see Jimmy Butler early if he really has the legs for another 30-point performance, because if the Warriors want to win tonight, they have to score over 100 points. They have to. The Wolves are 9-0 this season while holding opponents to under 100.
Wow.
9-0. That's the recipe right there.
Yeah,
if you can find a way to keep them under 100, there's no way this Timberwolves team loses.
And don't you think from a defensive standpoint in regards to Jimmy Butler that the Wolves, they don't have to necessarily like switch up their whole defense. That's just something you got to kind of live with, right? But that they do have to try to fight through those screens. Something they did in the fourth quarter, I think, is better, is fight through those screens a little bit more and not give Jimmy the matchups that he wants. Like it seemed like Jimmy was looking for Mike Conley, even to a lesser extent, a little looking for Rudy Gobert. They got to kind of try to fight through those screens a little bit more and give them the Jaden McDaniels or the Julius Randles, right?
And it's tough, man, because you have to think about how much action is run for Steph Curry on a daily basis, right?
It's insane.
Like the reason why their offense works is because of the floor spacing that Steph Curry creates on every single cut he makes. Like if I can nerd out for a little bit, like you have to backpack a guy like Steph Curry. So what that means is you have to basically like act like you're his backpack, like you're grabbing like his shoulder blades and you're following him everywhere he goes.
Right.
Because if you go under everything, he's way too smart. He's just going to shuck you off and he's going to bounce back and he's going to have a wide open shot. So you have to chase over every single thing there is, which creates so much offense for this Warriors. You don't have that threat anymore. So the Timberwolves, yes, you have to make new adjustments. You have to guard Jimmy Butler in different ways because he's the guy that's now coming off, but he doesn't have that same catch and shoot and quick trigger ability that Steph Curry has. So you're able to help and show a little bit more or maybe give room on something. There's just a lot of things this Timberwolves defense can do without Steph Curry out on the court, and I think it's just too much for this Warriors offense to handle.
Yeah, it just seems like the Wolves, if they can even get into double digits, which sounds blasphemous, this is a Warriors team, this is a professional NBA team, but even just that double digits, it feels like the Warriors don't have enough firepower to really play catch up against a team like the Wolves, or like we saw in Game 3, necessarily they can only keep them at arm's length so far. It doesn't feel like the Wolves are ever really going to be out of this because exactly what you're saying, that that's a huge element of their offense is taking Steph Curry out of the mix there.
Yeah, they don't have the big shot making ability. They don't have how many times
Buddy Hield's been MIA outside of Game 1.
Buddy Hield's been MIA. He certainly has. But how many times in your just NBA fandom have you watched Steph Curry go on his own 12-0 run and just like absolutely get the crowd going or silence a crowd? Like
it's a million times.
Can you name a person who's been better throughout the career of the history of the NBA who's been able to go on his own like runs and shut down opportunities like Steph Curry? Like
no, I literally can't. I was just having this conversation with someone the other day. I was like, I think just in general, outside of LeBron James, I think Steph Curry is the best basketball player I've ever seen in my life.
Tremendous, man. Like, and I think everybody has their own skill, right? Like everybody's got their own thing. You look at the top 10 players of all time; they all have their own ability. But I don't think anybody can go out and get it from as deep and as quick as Steph Curry has.
And it doesn't matter how you could be right in his face. It doesn't matter where you're at. You could play like tape perfect defense, teaching tape defense, and he's still going to drain it right in your face. And that just makes it even more demoralizing.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. And I think we would have loved to. Somebody was talking to me about the other day is, wouldn't you rather have played like a fully healthy, Warriors team to get you more ready for the second round, or don't you want to, don't you not want to get like an asterisk by your championship? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but like I would have loved to see what this Wolves team defensively did against Steph Curry.
Of course, as a fan of the game, of course we would rather have Steph Curry playing.
7-game series to watch Jaden McDaniel and Nickeil Alexander-Walker go and guard Steph Curry, like that gives me the basketball chills. Right, man. We're missing him.
It sucks without him for sure. But you got to keep playing the game. It's like, well, you can't. They ain't gonna be. Trust me. If we hang the banner someday, we ain't putting an asterisk.
As a guy that hasn't seen a banner, I don't care how we get that damn banner, man. We need a parade. You and I need to be with our shirts off, hootie hooing on First Avenue, man.
We need to have a summer like J.R. Smith, where we just don't even put on a shirt for like 2 months straight.
And then we go back to college and golf. It's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love it.
This is the pregame party presented by Youngstedts. Max Fuller and Parker Fox hanging out with you until 8:30. We'll check in with Justin Guard, who is in San Francisco right around the top of the hour. Going to the text line, because this ain't howling with the homies, but we still are men of the people.
I love it.
We still love hearing from the people. And Flim Flam texted in off our conversation a little bit earlier. He said Julius unlocked Ant's ability to cut to the basket off ball in Game 3. Love to see Ant finding a way to get to the rim without breaking a guy down. And I mean, it seemed like that was a point early on, is that they were Anthony Edwards was finding those those driving lanes. He was making it a point to get to the basket. And it's something that he's struggled with in the first couple of games, is finishing at the basket, but I think he finished something like 6 of 8 at the rim. And obviously we know he just took over in that second half, but driving the ball in seemed to get him going rather than just trying to rely on that three, which he is obviously. I mean, it's one of his prowesses. That's one of his best facets. But he made it a point to drive to the lane and kind of expand his game from inside out.
He certainly did. It's always interesting to see how Anthony Edwards approaches games, right? Like, I think there's a lot of different versions of Anthony Edwards. You have the satisfied with hitting 5 of 11 from 3, Anthony Edwards. You have hey, I see John Collins, I'm going through the lane in Utah, and I'm going to punch on your head type of Anthony Edwards. And then you've seen just the playmaking Anthony Edwards. And I think right now in this series, the best version of Anthony Edwards is that playmaking ability. He's getting taken away by the Warriors' primary defender, whether that's Gary Payton II or Jimmy Butler. There's so many guys that have mismatch on this Wolves team, especially with height and size advantages, that Anthony doesn't have to be a 40-point scorer or averager throughout this series. Like, I don't care what Stephen A. or ESPN is saying the next day about how Ant's struggling, he only has 17. Go watch the plays he makes. Right. Go see the little things he does. And he's winning games, man.
Yeah, basketball's not Mortal Kombat the way they make it seem. It's not one-on-one. It's a team sport.
It's a team sport. And it's the only way you go up 3-1 tonight in San Francisco is playing a team sport.
And you got to expect the Warriors to come out pretty desperate tonight. I mean, obviously, guys like Jimmy, guys like Draymond, and Steve Kerr as well, they know how important tonight's game is and how much momentum can swing quickly. If they can get one without Steph and leave that door open for his return, that's obviously going to just lift spirits in general. You don't know what that kind of emotional boost is going to do to a team like this that's played as hard as they have throughout the season. But mentally, Parker, being a former player, being a player yourself, what's it like going into a game knowing you're down one of your best guys? Like, how do you kind of go into a game like that, but still be mentally ready, but acknowledging that, it's going to be really tough?
Man, it's tough. I've actually gotten on some of the good sides of those and have had some really fun wins. You look back at my career with some guys like a Dawson Garcia who maybe wasn't healthy, or one of these guys who was playing well, Jamison Battle, or whoever it may be, Cam Christie. And you just got to have that next man up mentality, right? And I think that's maybe one of the biggest differences, in my opinion, from college to the NBA. And obviously, it's skill level and that kind of stuff. But when you're missing a superstar, it's really hard to make up for in the NBA.
Yeah.
And if anybody can do it, it's this Warriors team, right?
For sure.
Don't let me discredit what Steve Kerr does. But when you're missing a superstar at this level with this much talent, it's really hard to cover ground there.
Because NBA is just such one in more than almost any other team sport, one individual can absolutely just change the trajectory of an entire game. Like we talked about with Steph Curry, there's probably nobody better in NBA history at doing that than Steph Curry. So obviously it's going to be an uphill battle. You mentioned the college game. How good does it feel to be here tonight and not have to give one single damn about the NBA draft lottery being a Wolves fan? That's all we had to look forward to for like 2 decades. Man. We don't even have to think about it today.
It is phenomenal. I think Bump Barrera was talking about as we're driving in, man. He said something about how the Wolves had never moved up or something like that in the draft. We had always gotten moved down except for the Anthony Edwards year. And I just got to thinking to myself, thank God we got moved up that year.
God,
because we would be probably still.
And that they made the right choice. Because remember at the time, it was a serious thing. LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards.
What side were you on?
I'm not going to front. I'm not going to front. I'm going to come clean. I wanted LaMelo Ball.
Too,
dog.
I
did too. I was dead wrong. I've never been more wrong in my life.
Me too,
I remember kind of being like, damn, man, we got Anthony Edwards.
I know.
I'm so glad I didn't publicize that view. That would have been on the freezing
we're
cold.
We're not hating on LaMelo either.
No, LaMelo's a great player. Hey, if he wants to come to Minnesota in the summer, we would love to have LaMelo.
Come on, Mike's getting old. We'll take a new point guard.
Right. Matter of fact, free LaMelo, regardless of.
Yes.
I just don't want to see him in Charlotte anymore, man. He's a great player. So free my dog, LaMelo.
And thank God they didn't get the #1 pick today, too.
Yeah, seriously.
Nobody wanted to see Cooper Flag in Charlotte. Nobody wanted to see him really in San Antonio, probably either with Wemby. I think Dallas is a great spot for him. You get the leadership of Klay Thompson.
It also
Kyrie.
proves that karma is not real.
It does. It does. Which you and me agree on. So
it's unbelievable that Dallas has that kind of luck.
That's what their fans are thinking. Their fans went today saying no way we're gonna get the one.
Right.
Like things are going way too bad right now. There's no chance we're getting the one. And Adam Silver said, "Here you guys
go." He said
go.
that, right? Adam Silver's moving like prime David Stern. He said, "Let me rig this draft real quick. Less than 2% chance for the Mavs to win the lottery, but they overcame the odds. They have the #1 overall pick." How do you feel about Cooper Flag in Dallas real quick?
We were just talking about it. We were talking kind of floor ceiling type of situations with Cooper Flag, and
it's going to be kind of awkward with AD, right? Or do you think they're going to make a Twin Towers kind of thing work?
I think Anthony Davis can play inside more. I think Cooper in his prime, like throughout his career, I think his prime position is going to be the 3. Mm-hmm. A position we really don't see Anthony Davis stretch out to. He's usually a 4 or 5. So I don't think that really has too much of debate. I was looking at kind of like I said, floor ceiling. We said floor Gordon Hayward. Ceiling type Pascal Siakam, and I don't hate it, but I think he can even be better than that. But then I went and looked at some of Pascal's number. Like, he was second team All NBA, 3-time NBA All Star.
Dude, he's a key part of why the Pacers are up 3-1.
Huge part of the Pacers.
Smoking the Cavaliers.
Has a championship.
Like a black and mild. Yeah.
You know, he won one with Kawhi, and he averaged like 20 something that year. So
instrumental to that championship.
Yeah, we're bragging about Pascal Siakam here. But,
Pascal Siakam fan line over here.
You tuned into Home with the Homies. We're raving about Pascal Siakam in 2018.
We're just hard eyes over Pascal Siakam over here.
Oh, gosh, we're basketball rubes. But, yeah, you're right. That Pacers team is playing really well right now. Looks to have full control of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they're up 3-1 now.
Yeah, it's looking spooky for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They look about as they look pretty fraudulent right now. They look as fraudulent as a $100 bill with Ben Simmons on it instead of Ben Franklin. Would you just while we're on the subject of other NBA things, tonight's game is on ESPN and of course right here on KFAN or on the free iHeart Radio app. You can even set a preset so you can just open the app and it'll just start playing the game. You'll hear Alan Horton and Jim P. You don't even have to hit a button. But starting next year, the NBA will be back on NBC for the first time in over 20 years. And in a move that was announced earlier today it shocked the hell out of me. I couldn't believe it. MJ Air Jordan is going to be on Air Jordan. NBC announced today that Michael freaking Jordan would be joining their commentary team as a special contributor or something like that. I mean, first of all, how much money did that have to cost to get Michael Jordan on your airwaves? And second of all,
speaking of that, the money, I saw a tweet. It was like, I didn't see a number amount, but I was like, oh, yeah, he's gambling again.
For sure.
There's no way he's coming back unless he's gambling again.
That's a recession indicator.
That's literally what the tweet said. It's a recession. That's too great, man. But
funny.
You're
It's
right. That's
true.
probably a ridiculous. Because what did Tom Brady sign? Didn't he sign like some $500 million deal or something?
It was
ridiculous?
Like $230 million or something like that. So MJ's got to be
ridiculous.
At least $100 million over. I didn't think and we don't know Michael Jordan personally or anything like that. But I never thought of him as a person that would be interested in this kind of thing.
And that's why it seems even crazier, right? That's why the recession seems even more real. It doesn't seem like his personality. Like, I'm not saying, I think the TNT crew does an awesome job. They're pretty authentic people, but it's not always the most authentic, platform for some of these guys that have, different opinions. You can't always.
Don't him and Charles have beef?
Yeah, probably. You can't always speak your direct mind, right?
No.
But if you can get a guy like that, if you could get the Flying Jordan, man, it's a good beat. You got to jump on that one.
Yeah, that's a huge
Jordan on Peacock, man. That's going to be crazy.
That's going to be nuts. Then that's one way to boost the number. I mean, people that aren't even interested in the game are going to tune in just to hear what Michael Jordan's saying.
Oh, certainly.
And as NBA fans, between over the last year or so, LeBron James having a podcast and now Michael Jordan hopping on the mic. We're just getting so much free game, man.
Oh, man.
I love it.
So much, so many TikTok edits are being ready to be made right now.
People can't wait, I'm sure. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to see Game 4 tonight. Tipping off in just a little over an hour. This is the pregame party presented by Youngstedts. Max Fuller alongside Parker Fox. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back breaking down more Wolves Warriors Game 4. We'll check in with Justin Guard, who is at the game. He's in San Francisco. He's going to hop out the Uber and right on the air because that's the kind of nose to the ground grinder that Guardsy is. So can't wait to talk to Guardsy in a little bit, but we'll be right back after this.
Hey, it's Mus. I just snuck on the Fan to tell you we all love the Fan, but if you want to get a little country, check out 102.1 K102 concert tickets, festival tickets, and new music from the biggest artists. I don't have much time, but keep listening to the Fan and check out 102.1 K102 at some other time.
Summer is better with True Green. Get the best lawn at the best price. For a limited time, get 75% off your first treatment. Don't wait. Sign up at truegreen.com today and let the pros handle the work while you enjoy the results. Restrictions apply.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
651 Carpets Plus is the home of the next day install and Minnesota's choice for flooring and countertops by making the buying process transparent and easy. They shop the competition to make sure they have the best products at the best price for you and back it up with their low price guarantee. They're so confident they can't be beat, they'll give you $200 off if you can find it cheaper. It all starts with their free in-home estimate. They don't believe that you should have to pay to have someone come out and measure for purchase like the big box stores. They don't add waste like a lot of their competitors. 651 Carpets Plus has a state-of-the-art measuring system that gets your waste down to a piece the size of a doormat, so you're not spending extra on unnecessary materials or labor. You'll also get free furniture moving, free tear-out, free disposal, free upgraded steps, interest-free financing, and you'll save 7% or more with no tax. Check them out today at 651carpets.com or call 651 Carpets Direct.
John Creasel, fellow veteran here. Are you a current or former U.S. military member or spouse? Unlock your potential at the 19th Annual Veterans Career Fair. Join us on May 21st from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Heritage Center of Brooklyn Center. Meet over 100 employers eager to value your military experience. No cost or registration required. Dress for success and bring your resume. The Veterans Career Fair, May 21 in Brooklyn Center. View participating employers at careerforcemn.com. That's careerforcemn.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
For over 8 years, QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain. And they have over 50,000 satisfied patients. So that's people with knee and back pain now living pain-free, shoulder and hip pain gone. Hey, it's Corey Coe from the Power Trip Morning Show. So what they've done at QC Kinetics is nothing short of remarkable. They are using regenerative cell therapy to restore the tissue in your aching joints. It is a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life, repairing the old tissue. And the best part with QC Kinetics, there are no drugs, no surgeries involved, and there is no downtime. This is an all-natural, cellular-level option with lasting relief. And the patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. So imagine doing all the things you enjoy doing this summer without being slowed down by that awful joint pain in your knees or your back. So what you got to do is call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. And of course, you can learn more about these cutting-edge treatments that can help you live your best life. So call 612-254-7123. 612-254-7123. That's 612-254-7123.
Hey, it's Guardzu from Bumper to Bumper. Thanks for following The Fan on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at KFAN1003.
The Fan.
Welcome back to the pregame party presented by Youngstedts, the auto service masters. Book your appointment today at youngstedts.com, but you ain't got to book an appointment to party with Max Fuller and Parker Fox here hanging out with you until 8:30 before we pass it on to Cal Soderquist, Alan Horton, and the rest of the Wolves Radio Network crew. We'll be checking in with Justin Guard, who's in San Francisco for the game, but he's in a traffic meat grinder right now, Parker. Grinder. And I'm not jealous of him because I can't even imagine what those San Fran traffic jams are like.
Yeah, not as bad as LA, I think, but it's probably still so I haven't been to San Fran in a couple of years. I used to have cousins and family that were out. Oh, it's an awesome city.
It looks magical.
Actually, man. I lied. We played at Chase Center last year.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we played against the University of San Francisco. Shout out to who went to San Francisco? Bill Russell went to San Francisco.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. Shout out Bill Russell.
Nice pull.
Yeah, good pull there. Yeah, we played San Francisco at the Chase Center, and that was, it's a really new arena. Awesome place.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the vibe like there?
It's.
I know it's not. You weren't at a Warriors game.
Man, we played terrible. I'll tell you that much. We got our butts
Y'all ain't have the vibe.
We got our butts whooped. No, but it's a sweet. It's kind of new, kind of where Curry's family kind of sits in that little section there up above. It's a really intimate kind of stadium, awesome environment, and just some of the stuff like behind the scenes of all their trophies and all the championship and all the pictures is so awesome.
That's gotta be cool, man.
The dynasty they had there for a couple of years was just ridiculous.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, they ruined the NBA for like 5 years. Like, I love Steph
Forget
Curry,
about him.
but yeah, they ruined the NBA for like the 5 years. But those days are over with. They no longer are relying on Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, but more like the likes of Jimmy Butler and unlikely as all, Jonathan Kuminga, who's absolutely been tearing the Wolves up. You mentioned him as a guy that could be a difference maker ahead of this season, Parker, but I don't think a lot of people had him on their radars, considering that he had essentially been played out of the lineup by Steve Kerr, but desperate times call for desperate situations. And with Steph's injury, Jonathan Kuminga goes back into the lineup. And maybe it's also something Steve Kerr knew, because during the regular season, Jonathan Kuminga had some success against the Wolves as well, and he's been kind of tearing the Wolves up. Is it just a matchup issue? Is it because it's like, okay, if Jonathan Kuminga beats us so ever, but what is it about Jonathan Kuminga that's given the Wolves someone, I don't want to say fits, but struggling?
Yeah, that's a great point. I would agree with struggling in a way. I think Jonathan Kuminga, he's a natural born scorer. Like he delivered a standout performance. He scored a playoff career high 30 points off the bench. He shot an impressive 61% from the field and 75% from behind the arc. Hit 3 of 4 threes, not known necessarily for a 3-point shooting type of player, but I think he just has that natural ability to his game, and it's tough because it's hard to continue to make an NBA roster. It's even harder to make a rotation. It's even harder to make a starting five. And you're right, he kind of fell out of that rotation a little bit. And yeah, granted, there were some injuries, but sometimes that's not always because you're not a good player. Sometimes just the situation, the fit isn't right for you. I think Jonathan Kuminga is a pretty dang good player, but maybe the ankle injury that he had a little bit or whatever it may have been throughout the season, Steve Kerr decided that he wasn't going to be kind of part of the rotation. And now you fast forward to the playoffs and you got to stay ready. So I give him a lot of credit, man, because it's hard when you're not in that rotation to keep showing up every single day, but you can tell he's got good people around him, mentoring him the right way and telling him to stay at it. A little fun fact, Jonathan Kuminga's 30-point game in Game 3 marked the highest scoring performance by a Warrior off the bench in a playoff game since 2019.
Damn.
So that was good company back on that team. But he's just maybe, yeah. But he's just showing his ability to provide a scoring spark from that kind of second unit. I think it's a really valuable thing, especially in the postseason when you're able to go to your bench, as we've seen with this Wolves team. The ability to go to the bench is so key throughout the postseason. And now Kuminga's kind of getting maybe in that starting position now. We didn't see any Pat Spencer, so who knows what's going to happen, man. Like, I think you're probably going to see a lot of Kuminga tonight. He's probably going to be playing with a lot of confidence after that 30-point game.
And you mentioned the Wolves, like they have the bench advantage, but it seemed that last game the Warriors, mostly due to Jonathan Kuminga, but the Warriors kind of had the bench advantage in the last game because guys like Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid, they ended up kind of in foul trouble, and both of those guys in particular, they haven't truly been unlocked in this series. And I feel like Dante specifically, he's been contributing in a lot of different ways, like we've talked about before, just the mental game, the toughness defensively, but he still has yet to have that offensive explosion that I feel like we've all been waiting for here in the Twin Cities.
Something PA and I kind of discussed this morning. A part of the reason why we were so happy about that trade for Julius, and we talked about Julius in the first segment, which we're super happy about, but another reason we were pumped is because of what Dante DiVincenzo brings.
And I think Julius was, even people who are contentious about the Julius part, I think everyone was unanimous with we wanted Dante DiVincenzo.
Mm-hmm. No, certainly. I think Dante's been a guy, he's proven that he's a winner. He did it at Villanova. He did it early in his career, and he was a proven three-point shooter, which is important when you're adding wing depth to your team. You need guys that can really shoot the three ball in this era of basketball. But then most importantly, in my opinion, was the leadership and the toughness that Dante brought, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You're right. He hasn't been exceptional for three. He hasn't really, found his stroke on the offensive end. He had a couple of those charges and just some sort of weird situations. But like you said, it was a good bench performance from the Warriors.
Yeah.
I think if you're Dante DiVincenzo and you're kind of the leader of that second group, you should take that to heart and say, hey, their bench can't be better than our bench. Let's find a way to figure that out in Game 4 tonight.
And that's something that usually the Wolves don't have a problem with. Their depth can compete with any team's depth in the NBA. But that Warriors defense is formidable. We've talked about it multiple times. And tell me if I'm tripping here, Parker, because I'm not as an elite basketball mind
Come
as
on,
you.
give yourself some credit,
but watching this Warriors team, I think offensively and defensively, one of their main core strengths is motion. Like even defensively, they're swarming to the ball. They're kind of always, swapping, rotating. Their motion on defense is just insane. Like their footwork on defense is nuts. But am I tripping here? Is that also a weakness? Because it feels like they're moving so much that the Wolves are catching them in motion and getting a lot of open looks in this series.
Yeah, the thing about a motion offense is because there's so many moving parts, there isn't as many opportunities for some ball screen stuff. There isn't as many opportunities for I should say there is opportunities for the defense to kind of be able to switch some things and do some different things, especially when you're really not shooting well from three. So we saw in Game 1 they didn't hit a three in the first half. Is that correct? I don't think that was the stat.
I think that was.
If you're not shooting the three in this modern NBA at all, and especially if you're not making them, the defense could continue to pack in. And like you said, the paint touches that Jimmy Butler had, those are great. But you can't do that to win over a stretch of 7 games.
No.
So I think you're right, Max. At the end of the day, not having Curry out there and because of all this motion, it gives the Timberwolves kind of the ability to figure out what's going on, and then you can game plan to what you're going to do defensively to really make them work and to put it to a stop.
And speaking of the game plan, I think a lot of us were looking forward to the psychological kind of mental matchup of Steve Kerr, a proven guy like Steve Kerr, and a guy that we all know and love in Chris Finch, and we know him to be a good coach. How are we feeling about Finch's coaching job in comparison to Steve Kerr's thus far? Because I think down the stretch there, especially in Game 3, he made a lot of it was almost hockey-like with some of those substitutions for offense, defense. I feel like he's played a key role in the Wolves' success in this series.
Yeah, I think you go back to the series before, and you got a young J.J. Redick. You got a coach who's just kind of, figuring out what his niche is going to be. And now you go up against a coach in Steve Kerr who's done it, right? Who's won championships, who's coached the highest guys at the NBA level. He's coached the highest guys at the world level with the Olympics. It's a daunting deal to go face Steve Kerr. He's done so well throughout his career, and I think Finch has just been absolutely fluid in the way he's kind of transitioned this team into a playoff team. We saw it last year, although he was in row 2 with a knee brace on his knee after that. Who ran into him?
Was it Conley?
Mike Conley.
I think it was Mike Conley.
Okay, I think you're right. I think it was friendly fire. But yeah, we've seen it, Max, and we've seen the biggest thing for me is his consistency that he's approached to the game, and it's just been he's found what he wants this Wolves team to do, and he's been consistently approaching that with excellence. He demands excellence from his guys, and I think when you demand excellence and your leaders really take to that, and they want to play well for each other and for the coach and for the team, that's no greater recipe, because you don't want to coach in this era of basketball, breathing down your neck and having to throw chairs and clipboards.
That's not flying anymore.
It just doesn't work like that anymore. You need the right approach, and I think it needs to be player led. And what greater players to lead it than Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards?
Right. And I think we kind of saw examples of that in Memphis, in Denver. That old school coaching style, it can work with certain guys, but it ain't always going to work. And it seems like this Wolves team is completely bought in on Finchy, but not just with each. Obviously, they've become really close over the years, over this year specifically with Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo joining the fold. But it seems like they're all bought in on Finchy, particularly Ant up at the top, which obviously trickles down to the rest of the team.
When you're a superstar, when you're a franchise player and your coach get along well, it's usually a recipe for something pretty good. And it's something we've clearly seen. I saw somebody, I think maybe it was Dane Moore, somebody tweeted out a picture of Chris Finch and Anthony Edwards just hanging out courtside after shoot around, talking shop. What an awesome opportunity for Ant to learn from a guy like Chris Finch who's been through it and won Coach of the Year last year and everything like that. He's a tremendous coach, and I think he's a key piece. We have to give him his flowers for what he's done for this Timberwolves roster.
Absolutely, and what an absolute gamble by him in the front office for bringing Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo in here. And obviously, it's the results have been glowing throughout the playoffs thus far, and just in general, I think they're something like 28-6.
Hey man, you got to break some hearts to mend some more hearts.
Right?
You know, like if you break a couple hearts to win a championship and make a bunch of people happy, I think that
so be it.
That ends up winning, right?
So be it. And the guy they traded him for, Karl Anthony Towns, he's part of the New York Knicks. They're down 72-63 against Boston right now. Boston looking to tie this thing up. Just real quick detour, Parker. It kind of feels like Boston has been, even though they're down 2-1, it feels like Boston's been in control of this whole series.
Yeah, they just didn't make shots, man. Like they're clearly the championship team. They're clearly a better team. They have more depth. This Knicks team has some pieces, but when you're not making threes, and we're seeing it in this Warriors-Wolves series right now, it's just really hard to compete. It's really hard to get yourself over the century mark, 100 points. Because you really need to do that to win a playoff game.
Right.
You
and
need
as much as people want to, this is just turned into a 3-point contest these days,
You're
and
right.
all the old people shaking their fists at the sky. It's a necessary part of the game, though. You can't just not just because you want style points with some old ass fans.
Hey, defense still wins championships.
For sure.
We're not discrediting that.
Never
but
that.
If you can't put the ball in, if you go, I think they were 10 for 60 or 15 for 60 from three.
Eesh.
If you're doing that in your Boston, you're not going to win games. So you got to put the ball through the hoop. It's the name of the game. And we're talking Boston Celtics, New York Knicks series right now. As Max said,
Knicks looking to fight to get to a 3-1 lead. Zach Fisher in the comments says he feels a fight brewing in this Wolves-Warriors series. I like that too.
Yeah, I like that. There should be, right? Like there should be some. Hey, let's show up from Golden State tonight. Like we're not asking Golden State to throw in the towel here. You know, everybody's like we commented earlier. Like we would have loved to play against Steph. We're not asking Golden State to come out here today and be like, hey, you guys got it.
Wave the white flag.
You think Draymond's gonna do that?
Hell
You think that's in
no.
Draymond Green's DNA? No, we're gonna see an absolute fight tonight. And I know we haven't highlighted enough. We have maybe one more segment after this to come, but we'll get into it more. But this Wolves and Warriors game tonight, this is gonna be a physical game. It's gonna be physically hard to stay awake for us here in Minnesota. But if you do, you're gonna see an awesome basketball game tonight. It's gonna be physical. There's gonna be bows throwing. We're probably gonna see a Draymond Green technical foul tonight. I would book that one with what's the FanDuel line on a Draymond tech? Probably like minus 180.
Right.
We're gonna see one of those tonight, I think, for sure.
And if you're fighting to stay awake, let us be the audio version of caffeine for you. Max Fuller, Parker Fox, this is the pregame party, hanging out with you until 8:30, possibly checking in with Justin Guard, who's in California for Wolves-Warriors Game 4. We're just about 45 minutes from tip-off. Parker Fox and Max Fuller here hanging out with you until 8:30. We got one more segment to go on the pregame party presented by Youngstedts. Don't move a muscle.
Summer is better with True Green. Get the best lawn at the best price. For a limited time, get 75% off your first treatment. Don't wait. Sign up at truegreen.com today and let the pros handle the work while you enjoy the results. Restrictions apply.
Rick Springfield is bringing his I Want My 80s tour to Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Relive the 80s with Jesse's Girl and other Springfield classics, as well as hits from special guests John Waite, Wang Chung, and Paul Young. That's Thursday, June 19th, TICasino.com.
They said that building an outdoor kitchen bigger than your indoor kitchen would be crazy. But when you consider all the possibilities of a Truestone Financial home equity loan with an APR as low as 5.74% and for a limited time, no closing costs, well, the sizzling burgers on that built-in grill, they say otherwise. A Truestone home equity loan is flexible financing for just about everything, even outdoor kitchens. It's true, because we're Truestone. Get cooking at truestone.org. Terms and conditions apply. Closing cost offer not valid with competing offers or promotions. Equal housing opportunity.
Calling all Costco members and deal lovers. Ready to elevate your odor fighting game? Find Old Spice Swagger deodorant at Costco and unleash 24/7 freshness when used daily. Old Spice Swagger isn't just any deodorant, it's the #1 aluminum-free deodorant brand, providing long-lasting scent and 24/7 odor protection when used daily. You'll smell so good, you might just attract a fan club. Don't wait! Grab your 4-pack of Swagger deodorant at Costco now, because freshness is mandatory.
Are you looking to sell your house? 651 Carpets Plus is the home of the next day install. and they can help you get the most profit out of your home. Their one-stop shop service options can help you with new flooring and stone countertops. Improving just these two things will raise the value of your home and help you sell faster. 651 Carpets Plus wants to help homeowners who are getting their homes ready to sell by offering a special incentive to make it easy. For a limited time, 651 Carpets Plus will do the work for no upfront cost to you, and no payment is due until your home sells. If you want to upgrade your garage with epoxy garage flooring, 651 Carpets Plus will provide you with a free pod to safely store your belongings until the job is completed. Let 651 Carpets Plus help you get the most profit from the sale of your home, and don't pay a dime until closing. Call 651 Carpets Plus today or visit them online at 651carpets.com for details and to schedule your free in-home estimate.
Youngstedts treats their customers like family. That's because they're a locally family-owned and operated auto repair service that's been serving customers in the West Metro for 54 years. Whether you need tires, expert auto repair service, or collision repair, you can trust Youngstedts to keep you safe on the road. And they can help keep your car clean all year round with a monthly unlimited car wash membership, which pays for itself after just 2 washes. Youngstedts is your one-stop shop for complete auto repair service, tires, car wash, and auto body collision repair. Visit youngstedts.com for locations, coupons, and more.
John Kriesel, fellow veteran here. Are you a current or former U.S. military member or spouse? Unlock your potential at the 19th Annual Veterans Career Fair. Join us on May 21st from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Heritage Center of Brooklyn Center. Meet over 100 employers eager to value your military experience. No cost or registration required. Dress for success and bring your resume. The Veterans Career Fair, May 21 in Brooklyn Center. View participating employers at careerforcemn.com. That's careerforcemn.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Out here, you'll find a community of hardworking creators with loyal followers, along with proud moments worth sharing. And farm to table, well, that's just supper. And whether it's a raised garden bed, acres of land, or something for your animals, we've got all the supplies and are happy to share a little know-how.
Welcome to Tractor Supply. Into life out here.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
The audio home for the Vikings, Wild, Timberwolves, and Gophers. Minnesota's home for sports is iHeartRadio and FM 100.3 KFXN, Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Fan.
Final segment of the pregame party presented by Youngstedts. Book your service appointment today at youngstedts.com. They are the auto service masters. Parker Fox is a master of the hoop knowledge. Me and him here hanging out with you until 8:30 before we pass things along to Alan Horton, Cal Soderquist, and the rest of the Wolves Radio Network crew ahead of Wolves Warriors Game 4. And Parker, I mean, you know, we got the everything from the mind to the vibes covered here on the pregame party, howling with the homies, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, we always got to do a vibe check. Just as a fan.
I like a vibe check.
You know, like how you feeling right now for a vibe check? Just as a fan, not even on an intellectual level, just as a fan, emotionally.
I'm really confident.
That's kind of how I feel too,
yeah,
man. Like I'm not tripping.
No.
Like I'm not tripping. I'm Triple G. I'm good.
GGG.
I'm GGG. I'm Gucci.
You found the.
I'm good, and I'm gravy.
Okay.
I mean, that's all you need right there.
Young Gravy.
Yeah. Shout out Young Gravy.
Yeah.
You stole my bit, hanging out with the moms.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. But I also do realize how big of a game it is, right? The Timberwolves lead the series 2-1. They're aiming to take a commanding 3-1 advantage. A win tonight would put them in a strong position to close out, the series at home. A Game 5 at Target Center. That would be a Wednesday Wednesday night game.
Yes, sir. We'll be in the building.
What a great opportunity to give yourself a chance to close that one out at home. And then Chris Finch talked about it with his interview with PA is anytime you can take more rest, you take it. Like anytime you can get done with the series faster, and the NBA and ESPN and TNT hate us, saying this, but the faster you can get done with the series,
right.
The easier it is, the easier it makes it. The rest at this time of the year is so important. Having your bodies and minds ready to go, it's vital. But yeah, I'm confident, Max. To answer your question, I'm excited. I'm confident. I'm hoping I can stay awake.
I feel the exact same way on all three fronts. And one guy that's never tripping about no rest is Justin Guard. He's live from the Chase Center. What's good, Guardsy? Give me a vibe check right now. How's the vibes in San Fran right now?
Golden Gate. Uber was late. Max looking for a date. Wolves in 5.
Let's go!
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm keeping the shirt on. It's like 60 degrees here in San Francisco. I'm keeping the shirt on.
Oh,
damn.
Wow. I like that.
But you're going to go tarps off if they win, though, right?
We'll see. We'll see how the game goes. Sorry. That was a meat grind. Apparently, there's only one road in San Francisco that gets you to the brand new Chase Center. So we took it, and everybody, it was like Field of Dreams coming in here. That's an 80s reference for everybody.
Thanks,
good show, guys. I listened to it the whole way. I think you've hit all the points, and I think you've hit all the points. This is going to be a tough one today. It's going to be an absolute grind. It's going to be like my drive in here. It's going to be an absolute grind, and they're going to have to survive in advance and hopefully just get there in time.
But like the Wolves, they'll fight through the adversity just like you did, Justin Guard. And I got to ask you, just from a macro standpoint, it could be a player, it could be a specific kind of play, a shot, whatever. What do you think is the X factor in tonight's game?
I still think it's Jimmy Butler. And I heard you guys talking about it, the way he finished the fourth quarter. And Parker, I'm a great basketball mind. You got to sit next to me for a couple of games. And I tell you about strategies from, like the 2006 Final Four before you were even born. I tell you about all these things. And I swear, like, everybody wants to see playoff Jimmy. Everybody wants to see him kind of take over a game. I just don't think he can be that guy anymore. Like, obviously, he was great for 2.5, 3 quarters. And then that last 7 minutes, it's a missed shot at the rim. It's a bad pass to Draymond. He doesn't want to drive and finish all night. I just don't think he wants to do that. And so if we're helping off of him and letting him find cutters, I think that's a mistake. I also think we got to be more intentional about not letting him get the switches that he wants. I'm sure you guys have seen the numbers. When it's Jaden, Ant, Julius, he's like 4 of 27. He wants to find Naz. He wants to find Rudy. I think he really wants to find Naz, and I just hope they don't give that one up so easily, especially in the fourth quarter. So that's kind of my main matchup. I know we're going to see something from Draymond tonight. You're going to see something from Draymond. I doubt he's going to get called for ticky-tack fouls tonight because I do think he got kind of jobbed on fouls 4 and 6 last game.
Yeah, well, those were some tough calls. I got to admit, we don't like Draymond, but those were some tough calls, objectively.
100%. So that they had some things to say about that in the interim, and he's going to be able to. And when he went out, Ant changed the game, right? I mean, that made a big difference. Ant could get to the rim when Draymond went out. So we'll see. It's cool to be here. I'm glad I finally got here, and I'm glad I finally got to see you guys.
Oh, that's so sweet, Guardsy. We're glad we got to see you too, brother. We really appreciate that.
It's gotten soft. He went to San Francisco and he got soft.
All of a sudden, you see them San Francisco sunsets. See, he started getting a little soft. What's going on, Guardsy?
It's freezing here. That's all. I did not dress for this occasion. I'm on the water here. I don't know if you can see the water behind me.
I can see it a little bit.
Yeah, we got the Chase Center right here. So we're doing all right.
That's an awesome arena too, Guardsy. We played in it last year. Me and Max were talking about it. Didn't go our way, but it's a world class arena in there. I'm excited for you to see it.
I heard you had. I want to go to the hotel where you had an epic film session after that. The head coach was not happy with the effort against St. Mary's, and you had to get some things straightened out, if I remember that correctly.
My pizza was like so cold it was like stale because we didn't even get to eat after the game. We went straight to film session and we watched the whole game back. And the funniest, he would stop a clip and it would be like, all right, we got to get in the weight room. He's not strong enough. He's just going at us, man. So we loved it.
Good memories.
Man. Good
memories.
Those are the memories. You would give those back for one more time in a film session. I'll tell you that.
Simpler times. So yeah, I don't know. So I'd like to see Ant get going a little bit earlier, today.
Yeah.
I think until that second half, there were legitimate questions about is he okay?
For
Is
sure.
the ankle okay?
The announcers were asking it. A lot of people were thinking it in their heads. Is that ankle affecting him more than we thought? But then obviously 28 in the second half, I think that was not the case.
Yeah, I'd answer it. And I do think, again, that just having Draymond out of there kind of freed him up. So is there a way they can get Draymond away from him a little bit more, not let him be free safety dude the whole time? But it'd be great to be up 3-1 coming home, man, and seeing you guys in the Skyway when we all come for Game 5. That would be outstanding. So let's hope we get that done tonight.
Do you think we do?
Yeah, we need a scoring prediction, JG. What's your prediction?
86 to 79. It's going to be an absolute.
Let's go.
It's going to be an absolute brass knuckles. Fight 86-79. Wolves get it done. It's going to be
a game straight out of 1986 with that type of score. What's your score prediction, Parker?
Yeah, as we hear the music here, I go in Wolves. I don't think the Warriors get across the century mark. I don't even think they break 80. I think the Timberwolves win 104-89 and head to Game 5 in Minneapolis.
Dang, not to steal y'all bit, but I don't think they're crossing the century mark as well. I'm gonna go Wolves 115. Well, let's say Warriors about 97, something like that. We appreciate you for hopping on with those guards. You have fun at the game tonight.
Yep. All right, guys. Good show. See you.
That was Justin Guard of Fan Dad's fame. He joined the pregame party just like you did. Thank you for taking time out of your day to hang with me and Parker. We'll holla at y'all before Game 5 down at the Target Center on Wednesday, and hopefully we'll be talking to y'all as the Wolves take a 3-1 lead over the Golden State Warriors. Game 4 coming up next. Don't move a muscle. It's all right here on KFAN.
Did you know your skin